Getting married is not an achievement. The girl.
And so is being a single mother. So is having a bunch of kids for men that don't want y'all. Having multiple baby fathers. So is having one broken home after the next. Those are not achievements either, but y'all are okay with that. Let's unpack that. Are we telling the girlies to close their legs? Are we telling the girlies to close their throats? Are we telling the girlies to make better choices? Are we telling the girlies to really pour into themselves? Are we telling the girlies any of this? Are we telling the girlies, okay, if marriage is not an achievement, so is, having like 5-6 sexual partners in 1 year also is not an achievement, it's not a sport? Are we telling the girlies that? Listen, I don't understand what's going on in the black community. But in the words of Chris Brown, how are you hating from outside the club? You can't even get in. Y'all always got something, to say about marriage. Something that downplays or disparages it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Women in relationships don't give advice anymore to single women because they're too bitter. Yes, they're too bitter. Check it out.
The reason why you don't hear about healthy relationships anymore is because of the fact that those of us in healthy relationships ain't got shit to say to y'all. Because anytime we tell you what we do for our husband or what our husband does for us, y'all look for any reason to try to come up with some type of excuse or some type of narrative that we're being controlled or that we're not really happy or I would never do that. Is exactly why you're miserable is still single, and exactly why no matter who you try to date or what you try to date, you still end up unhappy because you have this long list of what you feel like is supposed to come from a relationship, yet you don't want to be able to, you just want to be on the receiving end.
She's keeping it real.
Relationships are give and take.
Right.
I can't remember the last time that I did laundry, but I will be out here taking the trash out because I don't give a I would rather take the trash out than to be downstairs doing laundry. I don't want to. I don't like laundry. But if I tell y'all, oh, yeah, I take the trash out. What? You take the trash out? You're a woman. You shouldn't be taking out the trash. That's a man's job. Your man does the laundry? You should be doing that. You're the woman. Like, when it comes to a healthy relationship, there is no gender roles.
I disagree with that. But I agree with the overall message. Here's the confusion, right? The rule here is efficiency over gender roles. And what I mean, guys, by efficiency over gender roles is basically, let's say you're somebody who values a more traditional relationship, but you as the man notice that your wife is better with like spreadsheets and following a budget. Recognizing that is good for the relationship. If you're able to communicate that, recognize that, that's good. You can put her there in charge of following the budget and putting the spreadsheets together. And there are men out here who, because of their ego, they'll fail in that area and they won't allow the most efficient person to take care of that position. Now, this becomes a bit difficult when it comes to like earning potential. I would just suggest you avoid a woman who earns more money than you in the first place. Controversial point, I'm well aware, but there are plenty of relationships and marriages that prioritize gender roles for sure.
I do what I want to do and he does what he wants to do. And it ends up working out together because I do, and it just so happens that what he doesn't like to do, I don't mind doing. And what he doesn't like to do, what I don't like to do, he doesn't mind doing. Like, y'all are weird. My husband cooks probably most of the time. My husband taught me how to cook because I didn't know how to cook shit. I didn't know how to season. I was raised by the Caucasians. No offense, but I didn't know how to cook. So he taught me how to cook. He does most of the cooking. And when he gets done cooking, I serve him his plate. I serve him. And then once he's done eating, he gets up and leaves and I take his plate and I go there and I clean the kitchen up. Like, the reason why we don't be talking about how good our relationship is or how healthy it is because y'all's little toxic ass be coming in there trying to say something crazy, yet y'all are the single ones. Make that make sense.
Ooh. Now, I don't want the message to get lost being filtered through me. I think the overall message here is we don't even want to help out these single women because they're just too bitter. They think they deserve the world. They think they deserve the men that they want. But at the end of the day, they don't understand that relationships are a give and take. And what she described there is prioritizing efficiency over some rule book that you're supposed to follow to the T. Nothing is to the T. And it gets even more confusing when you get married and you add children. I help out. I cook. In fact, I actually love to cook. I love to cook. I'm a great cook. I really am. I think it's about time I stop bragging and just show you guys.
Getting married married is not an achievement. The girlies are about to be mad at me for this post, but I'm gonna say it anyway. This is Jasmine with Listen to Your Single Friend. I went to the dentist today, y'all, so if my right side is not moving as much, that's because my face is still numb, so just bear with me. I wanted to talk about this post that I saw on Threads. We gotta stop acting like marriage isn't an achievement. Do you know how hard it is to find a normal behaving human being? This is the problem I have with singles and non-married. The glamorization of marriage is so crazy to me because why do you assume all these people that are married are normal behaving human beings? Why? Just because people are married doesn't mean they're in a healthy and happy marriage. We have to stop making this presumption. Just like we know that every single person is not sad and bitter and lonely, every person that is married is not happy. And we're not supposed to say that, but I'm going to say it. We have to stop assuming that the simple act of being married is some sort of achievement. It is not. And married women have come out and said the same thing straight from the horse's mouth. There was a woman years ago who put out this article. Literally, it said being married is not an achievement. She was like, me getting degrees? Achievement. I actually had to work for that. That was actually something that was like a process. Getting married, not so much. A married woman posted on the thread of this post and was like, I'm happily married. I don't consider it an achievement. And also, normal? Have you met married people? So it's like you're hearing it straight from them. This is not no hateration in this dancery, okay? The girlies know and understand that this is not some big achievement. For starters, for context, we got to stop making assumptions about people's marriages. They're not all happy. They're not all healthy. We can't just assume that the simple act of being married is an achievement. But the main thing I want to point out is I don't think achievement is even the right word to use. I think luck is the word. I'm a wedding planner, so I understand that my context is a little bit different, but some people just really meet their person and they just really get it right. Have you heard people's like cute meet stories? I just happened to be at this event that I wasn't supposed to be at, and we just happened to bump into each other, or we saw each other twice. The third time was the charm. Like some people just really, the universe aligns to put people exactly where they're supposed to be to meet their person. Some people just get it right, and it is a beautiful thing to see. That is luck. That is the universe. That's alignment, right? But in achievement, not so much. So let's stop doing that. Let's stop making these assumptions. People who are married, the only fact that you can give about people who are married is that they are married. That's it. They signed a legal document. That's all you know. You don't know if they're happy. You don't know if they're healthy. You don't know what they sacrificed to get here. You don't know anything. You don't know anything at all. That's not an achievement either. But some couples do just get it right, but every couple does not. And we just can't make assumptions that because somebody got chosen to be married, that's it. They did it right. We have heard so many stories on TikTok about people getting divorced after a year, or people marrying the wrong person. You know what I mean? Because they felt insecure, or because they felt like they were older and it was time to settle down. We've heard so many stories about people saying that they felt pressure, right? And so like, we can't just assume. We haven't heard the end of their story yet, and we don't know how that ends. So, I'm not saying this to sound, negative or harsh. I just really want people to set expectations about what happiness and healthy relationships look like.
Real quick, shout out to the sponsor of this channel, fathershaverights.com. Here is the truth. A prenup is not about lacking love or trust. It's about being brave enough to have honest conversations. It's about being bold enough to protect your family's future. Engaged or soon to be married men. The divorce industry profits when you enter marriage blindly. Real love is sitting down and writing your own rules instead of leaving it up to strangers, the state, the government. Soon to be married men, it's not too late to secure your future marriage. Click the link pinned to the top of the comment section and join the hundreds of men securing their future marriages the right way. Let's see what the bitter chicks in the comment section have to say down below. Top comment here says, healthy relationships are not for internet entertainment. Ooh, this one's a good comment for sure. And I honestly believe that this is a symptom of just the internet in general. Meaning, I've even seen this happen on my channel and other channels. Not so much anymore, especially when I first started for sure. But somebody who shares something like, Yes, I'm grateful for my wife. I've seen it right here on the coffee pot. Here comes some guy being like, she's going to cheat tomorrow. It's over. Which is why a lot of creators, and I've done that myself, if they want to talk about something without that type of interruption, usually create private groups or put something behind a paywall. It's really just to have people who have decided to value a particular thing, in this case, a healthy relationship or marriage, and they accept all the risks that may come with that. And they want to experience that without the noise and detractors. But online, you just have to accept that that's just part of it. Next comment here says, key point, no gender roles. This is such a funny comment to me. No gender roles, right? Which is just not true. Why is this not true? Because when you sit down and you ask a lot of these chicks, what are you looking for? They will describe a man who earns more than them, who's more competent, who's tall, who's masculine. They want those things. Be a gentleman. You are expected to maintain your gender roles. If you fall into this, and ironically, these also happen to be the same chicks who claim to be feminist, right? Somebody else who says healthy relationships are quiet. This, I would agree with that. That's true. Somebody else who says my fiance hasn't touched laundry, a dish, or cooked since we've been together, LOL. But I also hadn't touched a rent, electricity, Wi-Fi, or cable bill since we've met. I'm happy over here and don't mind doing anything for him because he does the most for me. The reason why this has 30+K likes is that they all think they're going to get that. The top percent of men who can afford to pay their bills without them having to sacrifice lifestyle. Somebody else who says, I think the reason is because people in healthy relationships don't post on social media. Another person who says people in healthy relationship don't have to perform online because they get attention at home. Another person who says, so true. Another hot take, relationships/marriages really isn't hard when you actually like your person. This lady here says it's a partnership. I'd be careful with that. And guys, we have to add these nuanced takes to every single one of these comments that may be wrongly understood, because these people will tell you, oh, there's no head of this household. We're both in charge. Let me know how that goes. Another person who says healthy relationships are not on the internet.
Last night I posted a video about how I am ready to be somebody's wife again, and I know that I'm supposed to be somebody's wife, and I'm excited to just be in love. That video has 30,000 views, and I appreciate it, y'all. But just looking and filtering through those comments, y'all confirmed and just validate my feelings about the whole girl's girl thing. I will never be a girl's girl. And my video from last night has proven my thoughts about this. Women are horrible and projectors. If I say I can't wait to be in love with my man and do things in my life, why would you get under my video and say your husband ain't gonna do nothing but cheat on you? You gonna be left as a single mother. You a young pick Misha. Like, baby, are you new here? You have to be. But all I can do is just chuckle and shake my head, because like, women can be horrible, horrible people, and it's nothing but projection. Like, I've already been a wife. I'm 40. If I desire to be a wife again and again and again, guess what? That's my business.
Well, easy there. Easy there. I'm not going to, she should let her go. Let her talk. She should be nice. Okay, fine.
It's mine. If you never want to be married, if you want to be single and have a whole bunch of cats and do whatever you want to do with your life and knit and do all of that every day, that's your life. That won't be me. And this is why I won't be a girl's girl, because y'all love to project that negative energy and all that bullshit. And I don't operate in that type of space. So that's how I know a lot of y'all got to be new here, because we operate in positivity. We uplift each other over here. Y'all get on my nerves, but to each his own. I digress. Yeah, but I said what I said.
And I wish you the best. Let's check out a few of these comments. Top comment who says, there's a lot of traumatized women out here. Somebody else who says, I think girl's girl is misunderstood. The true girl's girl uplifts women, respects their choices, and spreads positive, empowering energy. To me, everyone who doesn't do that just isn't living up to the name. Another person who says, misery loves company. Honey, do you baby. Somebody else who says, protect this woman at all costs. There's another person who says, God will give you the desires of your heart. And here's another person who says, I stand with you, sis. Let the little girls be. A grown woman understood. Hey guys, as always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. To my currently engaged or soon to be married men, if you need a prenup and would like a guide that shows you how to get a solid and legally binding prenuptial agreement, hit the link into the top of the comment section and access your guide at fathershaverights.com today.